reason why Kwame Brown do not hang with no NBA players, no top tier entertainers, don't have no celebrity friends, don't have nobody from his peer group that he went to the NBA with, hanging supporting him, fucking with him. Kwame came out about 8 months ago, had the hottest weeks of his life on YouTube, millions of views. Prior to this, let's backtrack. Kwame Brown was on Thomas Sotomayor's show a couple years back. He did 2 interviews with Thomas Sotomayor. He was very nice, humble, docile, even a beta male, may I say. He was very timid. He was like a shy schoolboy nerd. That type of guy. Then transfer to now. He's a hell of a nigga. He's a hell of a nigga, y'all. He's big, he's strong. He can whoop Matt Bourne ass. He can whoop Jack 5, Stack 5 ass. He can whoop Oakley ass. He want a piece of LeBron ass. He want a piece of Michael Jordan ass. He coming for everybody. Why is he coming for everybody on his level? This man said that he could beat LeBron in a one-on-one. He said LeBron won't want to see him. Kwame, you was motherfucking garbage prior to the destination of LeBron entering the league. You don't stand a fucking chance. You was fucking garbage way back then. You seeing LeBron on the court, even now at his age, he would fucking humiliate you. And then he wants you to believe that the NBA system took his voice away, broke him. That Stephen A. Smith was at them colleges. So now he always hollering about, why was you at them colleges, boy? Why was you at them colleges, Stephen A.? What was you doing there? Who sent you there? At them colleges. At them colleges. He said Stephen A. Smith was following him around with a camera and a crew. Just every time he's somewhere, Stephen A. just pop out. That's what he said. Now, sound like to me, Stephen A. Smith was stalking you. You could either call the police, or maybe, just maybe, you're a 7-foot giant. And I believe Stephen A. Smith is maybe 5'8", 5'9". I'm not sure, but I'm pretty sure you could have elbow dropped him on top of his goddamn head, and he might stop stalking you. But I want you to notice something that happened with Kwame, right? Check it out. When Kwame Brown came out against Matt Barnes, he called him Biggie with the good hair. When he came off against Stack 5, all because they dismissed him being in a trade and called him trash. He said his life was nothing. He said his life was dirt. Well, in actuality, his life was fucking dirt prior to his YouTube fame. Between his start time in the NBA to when the NBA finished, he was a fucking NBA fucking bum. That's why they went on tour and talked about his ass on all these social media sites and all ESPN and all that shit. Because he was fucking trash. He wasn't a good fucking player. At every destination, Washington, D.C., the Lakers, Philadelphia, this man wasn't shit and nowhere in his goddamn career. And he was a number 1 draft pick. Every number 1 draft pick in any sport that do not perform, they talk shit about. But he don't want nobody talking about him. Because they call him a bust. He said they talk about him for 20 years. See, Kwame learned something very important, right? Playing the victim to black people and ignorant and dumb people, get you their sympathy. And they can relate to you. Because they feel like it's way more victims in the world than it is people that refuse to let the world make them a victim to circumstances and injustice. So Kwame's seen that he can play victim, that all the blacks and some of the whites will come along and say, oh my golly, oh man, you were the victim. Michael Jordan should have treated you like that. Stephen A. Smith should have been at them colleges. Well, if Stephen A. Smith is a fucking sports reporter, journalist, wouldn't he be at all the sports events any motherfucking way? Kwame? He would have been there any goddamn way. But here it is, you complain, Stephen A. Smith was at them colleges. Stephen A. Smith cost me this. But the real reason why Kwame Brown is so butthurt, so unraveled by everybody that talks about him and speak against him is something that the great prophet pointed out. Y'all may say, who's the great prophet? One of the great prophets by the name of Tommy Sotomayor. He pointed out something very importantly that happened to Kwame over his NBA career. Okay, just stick with me now. Some white man that was one of his closest dearest friends robbed him out of $17 million. So what happened is, that was a good piece of his contract, because over his NBA career, he only made like $65 million, right? Outside of this, he didn't have no endorsements. He didn't put his money in good investments. So he spent his later part of his, after his NBA life, he spent that damn near just getting by, working on a farm. And nothing wrong working on a farm. Working on a farm is a good thing, but Kwame wasn't making no money, so he was working on a farm because he had to. Not because it was his purpose, not because it was his pleasure and joy. He worked on people's farms and worked on people's property, and do like little odd and end jobs, just like to make ends meet. But it wasn't because that was his purpose, that was his joy, that what he liked to do. If you like to do it, that's one thing, because then that means you receiving some form of blessing from it, because it just blessed your soul. But that wasn't the case with Kwame. Kwame was just doing that shit because he had nothing else to do. He fucked his life up. He always want to brag about how his mother, he brought his mama a house on the golf course. The fucking house he talking about, man, is in fucking foreclosure, and he don't got the house, and neither his mother got the house, and she dead and gone. So what the fuck good did buying the house do if it's in foreclosure? So that means somebody wasn't paying the bills and taxes on the motherfucking house. So this motherfucker wants you to believe he's a hell of a nigga. He wants you to believe he's a hell of a nigga because he was in a cheese line. He a hell of a nigga because he had to play people for their shoes. He ain't had no shoes, so he had to play somebody for their shoes so he had shoes to wear. He wants you to believe he's a hell of a nigga because he put his mama in a house on the golf course. Well, that's what's wrong with us as black people as a whole. Because you shouldn't have to be the one to buy your mother or father a house and put them on a golf course. That's something that them, the parent, supposed to do them for themselves. But that sounds too much like right whenever we discuss NBA players doing for their mothers, because they always talking about doing for their mothers, they never do for their fathers. But even if it was a mother or a father, it's the point that you're the child. You shouldn't have to buy your parent their first fucking house. It's alright if you bought them a house, but they bought their first house. She ain't have no fucking house. They was homeless. Him and his brothers and them and their mama was renting houses, man. And they was homeless for a portion of the time. So he had to put his mother in position, not his mother put him in position. And even with him talking about this fame and his rise, and some white boy man helped him rise to his fame. So I'm dropping all this in here to say this. Kwame Brown got a great saying: white boy tactics. Go along, get along, game. He talking about games and groups while trying to condemn Stack 5 for being in a group or affiliate or possibly a gang. The reason why he wanted to make sure everybody know that Stack 5 is affiliated with a gang, supposedly, is because just in case Stack 5 decided to do something to him, he wanted to make sure it be known so the police can get involved, that he's a possible gang member, possible gang leader. But Stack 5 never said such these things. Steven Jackson is Stack 5. So he never said none of these things on his mouth per se. But Kwame bringing so much heat and negativity towards these guys, all because they said his life was dirt and he was a fucking bust and trash and they made. But they actually stated a fucking fact. If you was the number one draft pick and the most points you averaged was 6 fucking points a game, you're a fucking bust. Just like Greg Oden was a fucking bust. Just like Tyrus Thomas, a fucking bust. Just like all of the first 1 to 5 players that didn't perform. They're fucking bust and they're fucking trash. But he don't want that to be said because that hurt his feelings. That makes him feel bad. And Kwame lives in his mind. You see, he got delusion of grandeur. I'm about to tell you how you know this. Before his hot streak on YouTube, he wasn't a hell of a nigga. He wasn't this alpha male, all big, strong, and bad. Nah, he wasn't none of that. He was just sitting around, bending his thumb, playing footsies with himself. Barefoot, I might add. That's what Kwame was doing with his life. That's what he was doing. That's what it was. That's all he was doing with his life. Living a regular life. Because he didn't have money to live the life he was living in the NBA. So now he got to live a dumbed down life. Because he done fucked up all his money. He lost the house he bought for his mama. He don't own no house. But he want to tell you about white boy tactics. The reason why he bring a white boy tactics, because that white boy robbed him out of $17 million out of his contract. And he don't want to say nothing about that or mention that. You see, if he mentioned that, then all that alpha male talk and all of that, I'm a hell of a nigga. He gotta bring that shit down. Cause now he look like a dumbass. Should have hired a fucking lawyer or tried to see what he could do to get that money back. So that's all I'm saying. And one other thing I want you to know about Kwame, right? And this go for Kwame, this go for Brother Polite, Dr. Umar Johnson, the Young Pharaoh, and all these guys like this. They always come out and they say the same things. I'm here for the community. I'm for the black people. I'm for the kids. We gonna build this for the kids. We gonna get this for the kids. We gonna get that for the kids. Kwame can't even see his own goddamn kids. Kwame can't even see his own fucking kids. And this is a so self-proclaimed that he say he's still a millionaire. He can't even see his own fucking kids. What self-proclaimed fucking millionaire ain't got enough money to get a good rate lawyer to see his goddamn kids? Make it make sense, please. Make it make fucking sense for me. That's all I'm trying to tell you. Now check this out, my Kwame. He is very sensitive like a woman. Yeah. You see, he's sensitive because he don't want nobody talking about him, but he can talk about everybody. So he wanted to talk about trading and coding and doing shoe drives. Go look back at Kwame YouTube. Prior to his success, he wasn't talking about no goddamn shoe drive and doing something for the kids. But what do Kwame know about all the black people? He know when you say kids, the black people just coming. Oh man, you my brother, man. You for the kids. You was, man. You for the black people. Wow, fuck with you. Dick riding at all time high. Yeah, dick riding shit. Dick riding was a sport. All the people that support Kwame Brown and follow him get a speeding ticket. This man have no factual proof that he was doing any of the shit he talking about doing now. Back then. Why did that matter? Okay, it was one thing if Kwame was a regular person, right? If he was a regular person talking about doing this type of stuff, right? You could say, well, maybe it take him a while to do it. Maybe it take him a couple years to do this, but he gonna do it. Got good faith in him. He gonna do it. Kwame has been a multi-millionaire longer than mostly everyone else on the planet. Like everybody else, majority of people on the planet have been poor and average. He been a millionaire for a long, way longer time. So him being a millionaire, he could have easily bought shoes for the kids. Could have easily set up all these trading coding shit that he talking about. But he didn't do none of that shit. All he want to do is talk about it. Now he's showing that he doing it now. Well, if he was doing so much, why did he need YouTube money? He need the people that follow him to support him by sending them donations. Why should a millionaire and former NBA player that made millions of dollars need donation to help people that's regular when he have made millions of dollars? That means he had fucked up in life. That means he had failed. And if you notice, none of Kwame peers fucks with him. Go look at that. No NBA players fuck with him. Nobody come near him. Even when he posts on Instagram, they don't comment. Ain't no NBA players commenting on this nigga. Ain't nobody following him. Why does it matter? This means his peers know he ain't shit. Hey look. If you're a police officer, right? And no police officers follow you on no social media site, none of that. And you, a former police officer, don't you think at least one person would follow you from your former career? At least one. One person. All the people that follow him is regular everyday niggas and folks and white folks. I don't want you to believe he a hell of a nigga. That man ain't started being a hell of a nigga till just a year ago. That nigga, just a year ago, he was talking about, Tommy Sotomayor, I'm your biggest fan. Now that nigga act like you don't know Tommy Sotomayor. You know what I'm saying? But this is the thing about him though. Kwame finally got a new life. So now he's taking advantage of his new life by talking about everybody else. And, excuse me, he talking about shit he can't do and shit he won't do. And he talking about it just because it sound good. And he know us niggas, black folks, we dumb as hell. We dumber than a motherfucker. Listening to shit like he talking, dumber than a motherfucker. You know that. So he taking advantage of the weak. Yep. Fat big facts. Nigga already know what the fuck going on. So sad. But check this out. Watch the fall of Kwame Brown. Cause guess what? One thing about it. If Kwame been fell in the NBA, fell after the NBA, and he continued to be a fuck up. Now guess what? If we would have came to Kwame Brown when he had that big run right, and we would have seen, damn, Kwame living in a mansion. Kwame got a nice big house, nice big car. Kwame look like, even though he might not have the biggest house, the nicest house, you say, damn, man, Kwame look like he still balling from the NBA. Man, this man was looking like he was a regular Joe Blow when we came seeing his ass. And that's not because he wanted to, because if you notice, once he got some YouTube money, he started dressing better. Oh, go look, he started dressing better. This means, sum it up, he wasn't shit. Just like his daddy. But the difference between his daddy left somebody dead. Left a woman dead. I'll get him to that story later. I'm going to bring out the police report and everything about that. I'm gone.